Hi, and welcome back to Anyone Can Code. In this video, we will start by defining what an algorithm really is. We will install together Python. There are many ways to install it, and I am using Windows as an operating system. So if you need more information, if you're using, for example, macOS or a Linux distribution, you can always contact me by email. Once Python is installed, we will start by some basic commands to get a feeling of what this programming language is all about. So let's get started. First, let's define what algorithms are. Algorithms are a succession of commands that are given in order to perform a certain task. A cooking recipe is an algorithm. So if we say that we have to add the eggs, second the sugar, and then we should mix. Trust me, this representation of a cooking recipe is no different from a real algorithm. If we would take this problem towards a more software-oriented problem, we should have something like, first, initialize a variable. So let's say x equals 1. Second, let's modify this variable. Let's do an operation. X takes the value x plus 1. So x is now equal to 2. And third, let's show the new value of x. Now, what is Python? If algorithms are a succession of commands, Python is a language where you can write these commands. And of course, like any language in the world, Python has its own rules and own structure and syntax. To start understanding Python, we should understand three things. The first thing is that Python is object-oriented, which means that anything you define in Python is seen by Python as an object. Second, Python is actually pretty simple. Python is a simplified programming language that is optimal and perfect for beginner programmers. And third, Python is perfect to learn AI. This is why in the following course, we will only be focusing on Python. Let's get started with the installation. We will be installing two things. First, Python, and second, Visual Studio Code, that is going to be our editor in which we are going to code in Python. Go to your Google search bar and type Python download. Click enter and go to the first link. It's going to suggest the latest Python version. I want you to click on it. As you can see on the left corner, there is the executable file that has been downloaded. If you can't find this file, what you can do is go in your file explorer and click on downloads. And there you can find this Python executable file. Okay, so let's click on this downloaded executable file. And the window will pop up. Now, before you click install now, I want you to click on this add to path checkbox and then click install now. The installation is done. We can click close. The next step is going again to the Google search bar and typing Visual Studio Code. Hit enter. And see this first link? I want you to click on the download part. And here you can choose depending on your operating system. In my case, it's Windows. So I click on this one here. And the download just got started. Now, once the executable is downloaded, you can click on it and it will show you this window here. You can accept the agreement, click next, install, and wait for the installation. You can now click on finish. And it will normally launch automatically Visual Studio. If it doesn't launch Visual Studio automatically, you can always search for it in the search bar. Visual Studio Code, here it is. You click on it and it will launch. For now, all I want you to know about Visual Studio are two things. The first is this button here, that is the Explorer. In this button, you can access all your folders, so you can click Open Folder. And you can then select any place where you will create your Python code. So for example, I will go to the Anyone Can Code folder. I will create a new folder called Python scripts and click on select folder. Visual Studio is opening this Python scripts folder and we can now add many files into this folder. For example, here, let us create our first file. So we click on Python scripts. We click on this icon here to add a new file. We can name it first code. And then don't forget to add the extension .py to make it a Python file. And now we can start coding in Python. So let's start with the most basic command, which is print hello world. In Python, the print function is the output function. It's the function that's going to show the user what's inside it. It's always used to output results. Now here, what's in the quotation marks is a sentence that is going to be shown to the user. Before we run this command, I want us to click on this icon here and click on command palette. Then you can select here, select interpreter, or if you cannot find it, you can always search for it and click on it. And here I want you to select the Python version that we have installed together. In this case, it's Python 3.11.3, 64 bits. This will tell this Visual Studio Editor that we are using this specific version of Python. Remember when I told you I need you to understand and know two things for now? The first one was this icon, the File Explorer, and the second is this button, the Run button, that's gonna run your code. And when you click on this button, you will see the terminal that pops up. So the terminal is where the output of your program is gonna show. In this case, we are printing or outputting the sentence hello world. So for example, here, if I replace hello world with hello all and click run, you will have the output hello all instead of hello world. And then you can add as many print statements as you want. And then you can click Ctrl S to save the file and click run, and it will output both sentences. Another interesting thing that I want you to see today are the comments. The comments in Python are instructions that are not seen or taken into account by the execution. For example, you can add the following comment. This is a comment. And the value of this green sentence is that it helps you later on remember the purpose of the following code. Or it also helps other developers to understand what you were doing in this section. If we Ctrl S to save and click run, we can see that nothing was added to the original program. This green sentence has no effect. It's just for you to know, to remember what you were doing. Another way to add comments in Python is by using the quotation marks. You can add 3 quotation marks in the beginning and 3 in the end. Between them, you can add whatever text you want. It will not be taken into account. It will be seen as a comment. You can say this is a longer comment. Test, test. And here we can click Ctrl S and run. As you can see, the comments were not taken into account. If you have made it this far in the video, congrats! You most probably have Python already installed. If not, let me know in the comment section. Maybe I can help you fix your issue. Don't hesitate to play around with your new Python and try, for example, for next time to print your name, your age, and some information. In the next video, we'll be talking more about variables, about types, and arithmetic operations. And don't forget, you have nothing to lose and a lot to learn.